So, welcome back, everyone, to a client interview. My name is Justin. I'm the founder at now paidadvertising.com, which we just recently rebranded from wholesale media. I'm met here today with Nate. Nate, would you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Nate Montgomery, the CEO and founder of CodeWord.
Awesome. Awesome. So, we've been working with Nate now for quite some time. We started in November of 2021. At the time of recording this video, we are in June of 2023. So it's been roughly a year and a half at this point. So Nate, could you tell a little bit about what was the situation before starting to work with our team? Like, where were you at, and what made you want to tick and look for an agency at the time?
Yeah, I was doing all of the paid advertising and paid marketing for my company, as well as running day to day and a lot of different things. I basically wanted to offload the day to day of paid advertising and being able to pay attention to trends and things that were happening on a month to month basis to a trusted partner, which you guys have absolutely become. And I have worked with other ad buyers and media buyers in the past, and had a little bit of a rocky return on my investment. A lot of them, a lot of them end up looking at how much money they can make off of you, and not if they're the right fit or they can do something to help your company. And I feel like Wizzo definitely came at us with a deal and a way to make things work for both of us and accelerate our growth.
Awesome. And I think also I'd like to quickly touch on that. The fact that you had experience in the past with other agencies is something pretty interesting, because sometimes we'd had some of these interviews where people come in, they've never worked with an agency, but you're one of the few, I think, in these interviews that we've done that had that experience. And you mentioned to me something at some point where you said you were able to learn how to work with an agency. Could you share a little bit what were some of the learnings that you had in the past, whereas maybe why did not work before, and what you also did this time around that contributed to this success together?
Well, the biggest thing is I think a lot of people go into these situations thinking that they're just going to pay somebody to work miracles. Um, and I think you have to have the back end of your store, from emails, SMS, to the actual store itself, upsells, things to really bring home the traffic and the information you're offloading from your paid ads, right? And the thing that a lot of other media buyers didn't do was kind of understand if we were at a place or saw that we were ready to be able to utilize the traffic that was coming to our site. I feel like it's easy to pay for these ads and get traffic and get information for these qualified buyers to your site. But if you don't have the product for them and ways to reach out and touch points beyond just getting their information, it's tough to bring home sales off the top immediately.
For sure, for
Um,
sure.
and the thing I was saying with you guys is, like, you guys set up a structure to see if this was going to work out before, taking my money and looking at what I had, and understanding that I probably wasn't going to work out, but they're going to, like, sign me up for 4 months, take my money, and then be like, oh, it didn't work because you haven't done this yet. Well, you could probably see that I haven't done that, and have experience as a media buyer to know that you're not going to be able to help me without these things. And you guys are a little bit more transparent in how you guys operate.
Love it, love it. And I think it was not always that good. If we remember ourselves, we faced some actual struggles when we first started together. Can you touch a little bit on the first month, how we had tracking problems? We had triple wall that was very new at the end of 2021. Can you quickly touch on how it was looking at the beginning, and also how we were advertising a collection that we soon decided to switch completely to offer around on the ad side?
Um, well, I mean, basically, we signed up with Wizzo, now paid advertising. Um, we signed up right after I guess a couple months after the Apple privacy
Yeah,
situation and Facebook tracking and Pixel and everything it was very tough to really understand the performance of the ads, right? And you guys worked with us to try to figure out ways to make that better. And we stumbled upon Triple Well, which has helped us connect our Pixel with our paid ads from our site as kind of a third party, and to be able to understand the actual truthful data of what we're getting from our paid ads. And we moved to more, and our original model was advertising our core product. And that is difficult with the kind of company we have, as we are very geographical based, airport codes, city codes, area codes, to advertise directly. So we switched over to the funnel model, where we can advertise more generic product to customers who are qualified buyers still for our core product, that we can then educate after getting them to open their wallets on their first sale on our core product, and sell them our core product on the back end.
exactly. And I think for anybody who might be watching this, to give some context, I have the stats on my side right here. In our first month with Triple Wall, we had spent $17,000 and had gotten $11,000 back in sales, which is a negative ROAS. We were at 0.6. And if we check just a few months after that, so roughly in April of 2022, just as a timestamp, we were already at 2.05 at this point. Although I must say we reduced spend. And Nate, can you talk a little bit about the summer of 2022? Because that was a moment which we were talking right before this call, or right before this recording, I should say, where you weren't sure anymore if this was worth continuing, because you guys were killing it with wholesale, and you were wondering whether or not you wanted to pursue wholesale more. And we actually had a discussion last summer where we were thinking about parting ways, but finally ended up continuing on a month-to-month basis. And then things started picking up shortly thereafter. So can you talk a little bit about that, and about the end of summer last year, and also touch briefly on wholesale and how this has been a big part, even though we're not really participating in that part with you?
Yeah, I mean, our business has always been more wholesale driven than it was B2C. And my goal was to grow the B2C side. And really, with these loss leader type funnels that we were running, the keyword was being lost. So we were like losing a little bit of money on the front end sale to then get their second and third sale and make money off them. And I just kind of went through a period where do I really want to break even or lose money and focus on doing this, or do I need to focus on my wholesale and what was profitable at the time? And really, since that inflection point, we figured out how it's not really a loss leader; it's just kind of a leader now. We're able to still make a small margin on that first sale, which is huge, because we're not losing money and having to get them back to make that second sale. We're actually able to break even to making a small margin on the first sale, which in today's environment and paid advertising, I feel like is pretty good in general. And because of that, we were able to kind of understand it in our business model to where it's not something we're losing money on and wholesale's making us money. It's able to actually generate revenue while not losing revenue. And then to the fact that with our wholesale business, it does, I mean, paid advertising, it sends traffic to the website, and the more traffic we get to the website, the more word of mouth there is on our core product, and the more inquiries we get about opening up wholesale accounts for people that own stores throughout the country.
Exactly. And I think also one thing that people need to understand about you, and I think CodeWord, is the fact that you're very close to your numbers. If we're looking at all of our clients, there's a big portion of clients, believe it or not, that don't really know to the T their margins, their numbers, and are not as close as you are, I think, to that side of their business. And unfortunately, sometimes it's too late once they realize that we're either profitable or unprofitable. Whereas you've always been on top of it, right? You've been sharing with us these reports monthly of both the wholesale side of the business and also the online store, which we've been pretty much running for the last couple of months due to the the moves and everything going on your guys' side, right?
Yeah.
That's it. Can you talk a little bit more now about what we've had happening in January? As I think we started the year with a bang. We had an amazing opportunity falling into our lap early this year, which led to, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, one of the biggest months online for Codeword. Can you briefly talk on what this opportunity was? What have we done roughly? And I've also got numbers on my side to support that after.
Yeah. I mean, essentially what happened in the month of January is, we're a geographical based company with codes, and we had a code in Philadelphia, in Eagles colors, and they were in the Super Bowl, and we were able to advertise this code to the Philadelphia Eagles fans, and it took off virally like wildfire, and we ended up, I think we did over $200,000 in the span of like a week and a half. And so we essentially had to throttle it, because it blew up so fast. We only have a certain amount of capacity to get the stuff out. And it was the highest return on ad spend we've had as a company. And like we were able to pocket essentially about 30 to 35% of our ad spend in pure profit, like net after everything. And it, if something like that happens, it's like you have to jump on it and understand that like it may not be forever, and you have to do it smart. And I feel like the team at paid advertising definitely was on the ball on being able to maximize our return on ad spend for that particular moment in time. And, in an ideal world, I could have just like kept throwing all the money in the world at the ads, but we have to get stuff out to customers, and we do a lot of light manufacturing. So it was quite the ordeal getting out our doors, but we made it work, and it happened, and I'm ready for it to happen again.
That's awesome. I think you spoke about something that's more people need to capitalize on is trends and peaks, because most people see e-commerce growth as this linear curve where you just keep doing a little bit more every month and then you keep on growing. Whereas, yes, that's true if you look at a longer time span, but if you look at a year, you've got peaks, you've got big peaks, and usually there's the guys over at Common Thread Collective, which speak about the 4 peaks that you should have in your year. And I think this was a big bang to start the year. As you said, it was over 200,000 in 1 week, which it's so crazy when you look at that, because if we look from January 17th to February 17th, we did $225,000 in sales, but you could see that most of that was within the first week of this, with $65,000 in ad spend, so a 3.41 ROAS during that time period, which proved to be a pretty good time for you guys, all things considered, versus a regular month. What is a regular month at for you guys on the online store, not wholesale?
On the online store, it's anywhere between $20,000 to $50,000, depending on the time of year and obviously our ad spend budget that particular month. And that's the hard part about our company is, honestly, we're with our hats and everything that we do. Summer is like Christmas for us. So right now, in the summer months, we are inundated with wholesale. And then what happens usually is we get into November, and then we have B2C that we try to pick up and go. So it's almost like running 2 separate companies in the same company, and dealing with like workflow. We do a lot of light manufacturing. We don't just pick, pack, and ship like foreign goods off the shelves or pay for a fulfillment service. So we actually have a lot of like American job light manufacturing here, and this stuff is touched by 3 or 4 different people, humans here, to be decorated, embroidered, put together to get out to our client. And so it's definitely a unique business model, because we fight Amazon. With Amazon can get stuff to you in 24 hours. Like we need 3 days to get this stuff decorated and done specifically for our clients' liking, and then out of our doors. And so it's as a paid advertiser, it can be difficult to work with a company like ours. But I feel like you guys have done a good job of understanding the workflow and understanding that we'll get hurt on the back end if clients get their stuff in
Mhm.
14, 15 days instead of 7, 8 days,
Yeah,
right? So
exactly. And we're right about now, we're heading into a slightly different direction. We're trying new things. We're introducing UGC and creative production into the mix of our workflow together, which we have yet to do at this point. And I'd like to potentially give you the chance to wrap things up, which you guys have an amazing project now ongoing. You're opening part of CodeWord up to the public. Would you like to maybe share a little bit about that and how anybody watching this who might be interested in contributing to CodeWord, how could they do it?
yeah, so we're partnering with a company called WeFunder, and this is something that's just been happening in the last 5 years in the U.S. to where the Security Exchange Commission is now opening up private companies to be able to sell off shares, kind of like public companies. The biggest thing is private companies forever. You had to have like basically be an angel investor and have a boatload of money to be able to get in on the ground level in these private companies. And now the SEC has made it to where we can sell off slices of our private company just like you could a public company without having an IPO. And this allows us to be able to sell off $100, $500 slices of our company to the general public, to be able to, say they own CodeWord. We're such we're a local national company, right? So you're able to buy your code and represent your hometown. Well, now you're able to have a slice of the company and really be an owner in this story with us, and on a small scale that fits in your budget. And so this is a cool way to be able to raise money. Right now we're in the first month of the raise. It'll go public to the general public early next month, which is in July. And yeah, I mean, it's just a way for the general public to go on the ride with us in our growth story and, make a little money off their money, have some perks of being an owner of the company, and get to see my face on a video call every 3 months if they want.
That's awesome. So what you're saying is that as of July, people head over to WeFunder and they search for CodeWord. They're going to be able to invest and participate in the project that is CodeWord.
Yep, absolutely.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Nate, for your time today. And any last words?
Yeah, I mean, even though you're based in Canada, you're not that bad. I have my doubts, but it turns out Canadians are okay. Um, but yeah, no, it's all good. I've enjoyed my experience. You guys have been really transparent, even when I'm running multiple parts of my business and dealing with wholesale, which you guys aren't involved with. So it's, I sometimes I have to work to be able to get FaceTime with you guys more on my end. You guys, not because of lack of you guys not wanting to be and talking to
Mhm.
me more. That's something else to speak to, is like, there's a lot of paid buyers where it's like, you feel like you're almost having to struggle to get their attention. Well, it's almost like you guys are saying, "Hey, I can give you attention, and when you want it, do you want it? Do you want it?" And it's not annoying. It actually like is fresh, because whenever I need something, or I need to pause, or I need to figure out the next move, you guys are there within 12 hours usually, and by my side figuring out the strategy for paid ads with whatever you're dealing with on my end. So
Awesome. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for again, your time and the kind words today. So on that note, I'm going to let everybody, as of whenever this is going to be live, to go ahead and go to WeFunder and search for CodeWord if you want to participate as of July 2023. And check out their products also. If you don't want to participate in the WeFunder, then at least check out all the beautiful caps and stuff that they're releasing. And Nate, have a good day.
absolutely. Thanks, guys.